Good afternoon. It is so great to see you, Scarlet Strapko. I am so excited, and let's dig right in. Did you ever in a million years think that you were going to be where you are at in your business today?
No, not at all.
Why?
So it's really crazy because I've always been an entrepreneur, but 24 years ago, started a completely different business than what I'm doing now. So 24 years ago, I had a major in marketing, studied economics, took programming courses. So I started a website development and graphic design business. And I still have the business today, but for the last 7 years, I got really engaged with health and wellness because of one of my children's health and wellness issues, and went back and studied aromatherapy and became an aromatherapist. So the wellness business now is something that I would have never thought I would do as an entrepreneur.
So did you get involved because your child, the illness, and you found that aromatherapy was a cure to that? Is that what you're saying?
So the problem was that she has a miscommunication between her heart and her brain, and it's a very rare illness. So the doctors told me there is no medication for what she's experiencing. There's actually no cure. She could outgrow it by the age of 25, but she was just 13 at the time, and it was completely debilitating and life-changing. And so I was like, I have to set out into like the holistic field and just try and find out how can I support my child's health. I wasn't thinking of curing it, but just at least support her health so she feels better holistically. And that's how I came across aromatherapy and got more and more involved and interested and excited. And I was like, I want to study this. So I went back to school and studied aromatherapy and became a NAHA certified aromatherapist.
And would you explain the NHSA? That is a very, very high classification. It's not like she's just like somebody off the street that says, gee whiz, I can sell this. No, this is so high. Would you explain exactly that certification, which is quite impressive?
Yeah, so NAHA is the National Association for Holistic Aromatherapists. And to become NAHA certified and be able to call yourself a certified NAHA professional aromatherapist, you have to study aromatherapy. Like my study so far is 270 hours. And you have to take certain classes. You have to complete certain portions of that. You're really into the chemistry of the oils, all the body systems. You have to take anatomy and physiology. So there's really certain requirements that you have to fulfill and pass to be able to become certified through NAHA.
So you did this, and with this kind of business that you are in, when you started it, was it considered a bit out of the quote unquote norm? I know that our feelings have changed about, you're talking about a medical condition your daughter had, and yet you went holistically, which I find very interesting, especially because I understand this is quite a bit of time ago, quite a few years ago. What led you to even try something holistic in that period of time? Why get into that?
So medication-wise, as I said, there was no medication for her illness. So they wanted to prescribe her other heart medications that were for other heart-related illnesses, just to try and see whether it would help her. But when I was reading the leaflet that always comes with it with the side effects, it would say, it could cause kidney failure, liver damage. All these medications had all these horrendous side effects they could cause. And I'm like, I don't want my daughter to even get sicker. I wanted to help her start feeling better. And that's why I was like, maybe there's something in the holistic field that can help her with her pain levels, with her energy levels, with sleeping. I was just trying to find ways to support her health and just starting to try and feel better.
What would you tell somebody who doesn't know anything about aromatherapy or essential oils, and they just want to feel better overall? Do you recommend that where do they even start?
So that's a really good point. And I created a website as an educational resource for people that are looking for different ways of supporting their health and wellness, whether that's your physical health and wellness, your emotional health and wellness, dealing with stress, improving your quality and quantity of your sleep. And I have a section actually on there that is, you're just getting started. What does it all mean? What are essential oils? Where are they coming from? Why do they help us? How can they help us? And how can we best use them? And so it's just like a little starter guide. And then people can contact me and say, hey, this is my most pressing issue right now. Which oils would you recommend? Like, where would I start? If I wanted to support my sleep and sleep better, what would I do? And so it's really a good guidance that I've developed through the website and my personal, one-on-one communication with people on helping them take the first steps and then take the next step and then take the next step to take better self-care, more improved self-care through aromatherapy.
Do you find that there's an intuitive side of you that has come out more strongly over the years since you have dealt with helping the body and the systems and our energetic beings, etc.?
Yes, absolutely. I think I have become so much more aware and in tune with my own energies. And with that, also being able to sense other people's energy. So before COVID, I still had my office and I would see people, clients at my office, and I actually have a scanner. It's called an Itovi scanner that can scan the energies in your body to see which essential oils would maybe help that person the most by matching the frequencies. And often, I would just have a casual conversation with the person. I'm like, I really feel like this oil or this oil could be really helpful to you. And then we get to the part of the scan and I would do the scan and the oils would come up in the scan. So it's just really, I've just become very intuitive about, what might be the right oils or the right combination of oils to help somebody to that next level, of where they want to shift their well-being, where they want to be at. So,
and one thing that I was reading about you, it seems like that you put together your own oils. Am I following that correctly? Because you know all the chemistry, so I was trying to follow that, and it sounded like you put them together yourself because you know what goes where, and that
exactly.
they come pure. I believe the word is pure.
100%, yeah. So the oils that I use as a base, they're 100% certified pure therapeutic grade, and they are produced by a company named doTERRA. But besides just using the single oils, I create custom blends and custom products for my clients, because it's often not just one oil, that can help support a certain shift in the physical wellness or in the emotional balance, but often a combination of different oils can create the most beneficial effect. And so I blend the oils according to my customers' needs and also provide them in the way it will work for them the best, whether it's a roll-on that they're using or they just need a blend that they want to put into their diffuser, or whether it's a lotion or whether it's a spray or a spritz, or whatever might work best for them in their day-to-day life and for their lifestyle, because I always wanted to integrate it in what do you do throughout the day? What's the easiest for you to use and benefit, from these oils, and then deliver it in the form that works best for them.
And I think that this is such an important point. Many of the women I deal with, self-care is a major issue. A lot of times I think we women have kind of put ourselves behind the kids. Even when our kids are out of the house, we might be putting whatever needs are there, us last. And I think that framework is kind of changing, and the self-care is not selfish. It's being able to be available. And I know that life doesn't stop just because our kids are out of the house. You have your expanding your grandchildren, etc., and my children with their adult lives. And I think in order for us to be available, that self-care needs to have a little bit of a different attitude, perhaps is the word.
Yeah. I think it has to have a different attitude. Like, we have to change our mindset towards self-care, because self-care is really essential. It's essential for us to start feeling or shifting towards feeling how we want to feel from where we are right now, maybe. Sometimes, especially as an entrepreneur, you have to be like self-driven and self-motivated, and there's always like this kind of pressure, and you might feel really stressed, work long hours. And you have to create that balance. You have to create that balance with your self-care to be most effective as an entrepreneur in in your work, in fulfilling what you're trying to create and trying to achieve. So integrating self-care is important, but also integrating in a way that it easily integrates with your daily routines. And this is really something where I'm trying to hone in on and say, if you use it this way, if you use an inhaler instead of a roll-on, maybe that's much easier and quicker for you. You know what I mean? And just learning about my clients and what works best for them.
That is wonderful. And that self-care and easing our way into it is what I'm hearing also,
Yeah.
because obviously I walk into your office, you have an NAHA, classification. I know nothing about it. Obviously I'd feel overwhelmed just looking at more than 3 different things. And,
Yeah.
toning it down and taking people for where they're at, and also knowing that the self-care might look very different for me as opposed to somebody who has been doing these essential oils for 1,000 years and needs a tuner up or something. And how do
Yeah.
you incorporate your own self-care? Because you are very busy. You have these very successful businesses, but yet how do you take care of yourself with this?
So I have a really good morning routine it's also part of what I teach my clients that come to me because of like stress issues and trying to create like more of a balance and a grounding phase in the morning. So I have a morning routine that already starts when you're still laying in bed, of what to do and what to do next with after you get up. And so I do that personally every morning for myself, and it takes me about 40 minutes. But it started out with just 20 minutes. And so you build on it and you build on it and you build on it. And it's just certain exercises that include like breathing exercises, applying an oil that is very grounding and balancing under the soles of your feet and on your pulse points on your wrists. And then doing something very relaxing like yoga, or even just reading or meditating, or even just going for a walk in the mornings and just being outside and just being in the moment and smelling and seeing what's around you, not planning your day in your head, just trying to be in the moment and check in with yourself and take that time. And then I have developed this, I call it the creative bubble routine. So you're creating that protective bubble around you to protect your energy from all the negative influences that often bombard us throughout the day, whether it's people around you or stress from certain projects coming at you, or just in general, politics or health or the pandemic or news, whatever could influence you to like lose that inner calm, that inner peace, to protect yourself from that better. So I created a routine. It's actually an exercise along with an oil blend that I created. And it just helps you keep your positive energy field around you.
So important. As we, and that reminds me, as we go into the upcoming year, I noticed that you said that you had people go through a machine, and I didn't quite get the name of it. The
Itovi.
Itovi, is that what you said?
Itovi.
Itovi. And now you don't have it, of course, because people can't see you. How have you been able to adjust with this tremendous change in how we do business? And what do you foresee for next year?
So how I was able to adjust is, as I said before, even when I meet with people in person, I think I'm very intuitive when it comes to essential oils. So I do video calls like just what we're doing right now, to meet with people, not face to face anymore in person, but face to face for like Zoom calls or Teams. And so it's more of a discovery now, like talking to people, really feeling of where they're at, what they've tried, which scents speak to them, which scents they might have an aversion to, and just really getting a feel for where they're at and where they want to go. And from that, suggest the oils that I would suggest and create blends for them, based on that.
That sounds great. And I would really understand that. I've talked to a number of women lately, and they are so concerned about their businesses as they go into the future. And what am I going to do? And how am I going to do it? What do you foresee as next year? What do you see might be happening?
So I think that our whole way of connecting with people has really changed. Before I would go out and I would be at a lot of like social events and I would meet people and they would get to know me. Now all of that has fallen away. There are no more networking meetings in person. So everything has shifted to online, to create that platform of getting out there, getting to know new faces. And so not to be afraid of that, not to be afraid of going out and trying to find groups that are online that might be meeting like we're doing now with like video, or even if it's just phone calls, connecting with people that have similar interests, things that you really love doing, even if it's painting, you know what I mean? Maybe you can find people that love to paint too, and you're just opening up a Zoom and everybody's painting and you're just chit-chatting while you're doing it. But try to engage with people just using technology that we have to make up for what we can't do in person anymore. And I know that's a learning curve for a lot of people, even just, how do I set up my own Zoom channel? Like how do I do this? How do I connect? Not to be afraid of it. Everybody has done this once for the first time. And everybody has done once for the first time a video recording and sent it to somebody and was like, oh my God, I sounded terrible and the lighting was completely off and my voice,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? We all go through that. Nobody starts anything perfect. It's all a learning curve, and not to be afraid of it and just get your feet wet and go for it.
How beautiful. I have to ask you the question, and then we'll get into the other part. But it's just on my mind. How do you recover from a life-altering situation? How do you find joy again?
So I can relate to the question because I've been through that myself. I lost my husband to cancer when my children were still younger. Really taking time for yourself. For me, it was walking along the beach, having that time for yourself to really find yourself again and finding joy in the little things that are around you. It was very difficult for me in the beginning to see anything as pretty and beautiful and joyful still, because I was just in such a dark spot, feeling so overwhelmed with grief and the loss that we'd experienced. But even just walking along the beach, I was always telling myself, look at the water. Look at how pretty the sunlight is reflecting on the water. How does the wind feel on my face and on my hair? And just really being in the moment more and just seeing things and seeing colors and seeing something pretty and just trying to take that really into your heart space and saying, this is beautiful. And just finding that space again of experiencing and seeing things as beautiful. And I think that's where it all started. And then with the support of essential oils work direct when we breathe them in with our amygdala, which is the part of our limbic system that is really at the center of us recalling memory, creating memory, and connected to our feelings. So there are various essential oils that can help us have more of those happy emotions or triggering happy emotions. And so that can be a next step of helping yourself, of feeling more, of shifting more into a more joyful, more happy, and more content place again.
Well, that's beautiful. And we don't even have to go through a life-altering change. We could do that. And I know a lot of women I talk to, we can just do that today. We can say, I'm in the car, I'm driving, and this is such a great idea. Nothing, they always say no information is new. However, when we hear it, sometimes we hear it for the first time. So I really appreciate you sharing that so much. And in the moments that we have, would you please explain exactly what you do, how you can help the people that are listening today?
So as you mentioned before, I studied aromatherapy, but I really started to specialize on helping people feel less stressed, have a more restful sleep again, and just feel better when they're waking up in the morning, and really shift from how they're feeling now to how they want to feel, and especially emotionally. I think right now we're so challenged with so many things around us. Often we experience loss because of our business. We can't do our business anymore like we used to because of the pandemic. There's just so much going on, so much pressure on us, that I feel that the areas of stress and sleep and emotions have become really central to how we can function, because we still have to do our work. We still have to get out there and try and push our businesses and make money and take care of our families. But how can we do that if we are really stressed out, we are not sleeping well anymore, and we're just worried and fearful and have all these negative emotions wearing on us every single day? So that's where I'm honing in. So that's where I'm helping people. I created a 6-week course, actually, that is all online, but it comes with an essential oils toolkit. And it walks you every week through these different steps on how you can create that balance again in your life, and how you can feel less stressed and you can sleep better again, and you're shifting your emotional balance towards where it needs to be from where you're at right now.
Fabulous. Thank you so, so much. This has been really great. I only wish our time wasn't going so quickly. You'll have to come back again.
It goes by so fast always.
I know.
There's so much to share.
I know. I feel like we're just kind of starting. So that means you have to come back.